It's raw, it's messy, and it's got the internet spiraling. What started as quiet tension between Tiny and her longtime friend Shekinah has now erupted into something darker, a story that's taken over social media, dominated gossip blogs, and left fans asking, how did two women who once called each other sisters end up here? Grab your drink, settle in, because this story is one for the books. According to multiple inside sources, what we're seeing now didn't happen overnight. Tiny, known for her fierce loyalty but also for her short fuse when betrayed, had reportedly been keeping tabs on Shekinah for months. Mutual friends say they were told to stay neutral, to keep their distance, but in Atlanta's tight-knit entertainment circle, neutrality doesn't last long. Everyone knew the friendship had soured, and everyone knew that something was bound to explode. What no one expected was that the private tension, the hurt feelings, and the quiet back-channel shade would spill out in public in such a violent way. It all went down one humid Atlanta night, outside a friend's birthday party in Buckhead. Cameras weren't supposed to be rolling. This was supposed to be a private event among familiar faces. But if you know Atlanta, you know somebody always has their phone out. One shaky video began making the rounds almost instantly. The clip is grainy and chaotic, but you can hear Tiny's voice, sharp and angry, shouting, "You think I don't know what you said about me?" Before anyone could process what was happening, there's movement, pushing, shouting, the sound of something or someone hitting the pavement. The video ends abruptly, leaving more questions than answers, but the damage was done. Within hours, it was everywhere. By the next morning, social media was on fire. On X, formerly Twitter, fans and bystanders were flooding timelines with disbelief. Tiny really put hands on Shekinah? I thought they made up after the live drama, another said. Screenshots, memes, and conspiracy threads spread like wildfire. Everyone had an opinion, but nobody had the full story. And then came the detail that turned a heated rumor into a full-blown scandal. Reports began circulating that Shekinah had been rushed to the hospital after the altercation. At first, it sounded like routine gossip. Maybe she was checked for bruises or just shaken up. But hours later, leaked hospital information started to hit the blogs. According to those reports, doctors discovered something that stunned everyone. Shekinah was pregnant. That revelation changed everything. Imagine that. The same Shekinah who had been crying on Instagram Live just months ago, venting about being used, manipulated, and heartbroken, was quietly carrying a child while fighting to hold her life together. Sources close to her claim she was about 3 months along at the time of the incident. No one knew, not her fans, not her followers, and certainly not Tiny. That secrecy made what happened even worse in the public's eyes, because if Tiny really did attack her, whether it was a slap, a shove, or something more serious, then it wasn't just a fight between friends anymore. It was a potential assault on a pregnant woman. And that's when the internet turned from curious to outraged. Fans took sides instantly. Some posted messages of sympathy and prayer for Shekinah using the hashtag #PrayForShekinah, while others demanded Tiny's arrest. "You don't touch a pregnant woman, ever," one fan wrote. "Shekinah was loyal for years, and this is how she gets repaid," another added. Within hours, gossip outlets and entertainment blogs were amplifying every rumor, every angle, and every emotional post they could find. The blogs went into overdrive. The Shade Room dropped one version of events, Hollywood Unwalked released another. Everyone had a source, and every source had a slightly different take. Some claimed it was self-defense, others said Shekinah ambushed Tiny first. A few alleged that both women were drinking. But amid the noise, one thing was clear. Something ugly had gone down that night in Buckhead. Tiny's camp, on the other hand, went completely silent. No tweets, no interviews, no press statements. Nothing but silence. The kind that says more than words ever could. Fans started connecting dots, digging up old interviews, and revisiting every public interaction between them. The timeline of their friendship, from laughter on TV to cold stares online, was suddenly being dissected like a true crime mystery. People remembered their earlier fallout, the one that started when Shekinah went live in tears after being accused of fueling rumors during the T.I. and Tiny scandal. Back then, Tiny had distanced herself publicly, and though the two later appeared cordial, the tension had never really faded. Fans who had followed them for years said they'd seen the warning signs. The awkward silences, the missing tags in each other's posts, the way they both started pretending the other didn't exist. Behind the scenes, insiders say Shekinah had been struggling emotionally for months. Her social media captions were getting darker, more cryptic. Posts like, "They'll never know what I had to survive to stay silent," hit differently now that the truth was out. Friends described her as exhausted, paranoid, and increasingly isolated. Some say she'd been confiding that she didn't feel safe, but no one really knew what she meant. And then a new twist emerged. A supposed nurse from the hospital allegedly claimed that Shekinah told staff she didn't feel safe going home. Whether or not that statement was real, it fueled an entirely new layer of speculation. Word began spreading that Shekinah had been preparing to release a tell-all, a book, a live interview, something explosive. Screenshots from a close friend allegedly showed messages from Shekinah saying, "They can't silence me this time." That one line set the internet on fire. Suddenly, the story wasn't just about a fight, it became a potential conspiracy. Was this altercation a coincidence or a warning? The detective work began immediately. TikTok threads, Reddit theories, YouTube breakdowns. Fans were piecing together timelines, rewatching old Instagram lives, comparing backgrounds, matching nail colors, analyzing every expression. Some claim they'd heard a baby crying faintly in one of Shekinah's old videos, saying that was the first clue she'd been hiding a pregnancy. Others insisted the entire story was being exaggerated to distract from something bigger, some yet-to-be-revealed drama within Tiny's circle. By day 2, the speculation had become a frenzy. Gossip accounts posted that the hospital had confirmed Shekinah was stable but emotionally distressed. No official mention was made of her pregnancy, and the baby's condition was never publicly discussed. Still, that didn't stop people from drawing their own conclusions. Meanwhile, TMZ and other mainstream outlets began picking up the story, reporting that Tiny's team was trying to spin the narrative, downplaying it as a verbal argument blown out of proportion. But then came the image that changed everything. A blurry photograph surfaced online, allegedly showing Shekinah lying in a hospital bed, oxygen tube in her nose, faint bruises on her face. The photo spread across social media in seconds. Whether it was real, old, or doctored didn't matter. The internet believed it. And belief, in today's world, is all that's needed to destroy reputations. The reaction was swift. Tiny's comment sections flooded with snake emojis, angry hashtags, and demands for accountability. "Apologize or go to jail," read one post. "This ain't cute anymore, Tiny," wrote another. For years, Tiny had been known for her strength and loyalty, but now she was being painted as a villain, a woman who crossed the ultimate line. And still, she said nothing. Days passed, and Tiny remained silent. No statements, no denials, nothing. Then, in what many called a bold or tone-deaf move, she went live on Instagram. No captions, no explanations, just Tiny sitting there, smiling, vibing to old-school R&B, as fans flooded the comments with questions. "Why did you hit Shekinah? Where's the statement? Are you serious right now?" The live went viral, not because of what she said, but because of what she didn't. That silence became the headline. That calm demeanor, that unbothered smile turned into its own kind of confession for some viewers. It was almost as if Tiny was saying, "I don't owe y'all anything," while the world demanded answers. Meanwhile, new reports started to circulate. Whispers that Shekinah was pressing charges, that an investigation was underway, and that doctors were keeping a close eye on her pregnancy. None of it was officially confirmed, but the public didn't seem to care about facts anymore. In the court of public opinion, Tiny had already been tried and convicted. Every new piece of gossip added fuel to the fire. Some fans started revisiting Tiny's old social media posts, reading hidden meaning into her quotes and captions. Others dug into Shekinah's cryptic messages, suggesting she'd been warning everyone all along. The deeper people looked, the darker the theories became. It wasn't just a fight anymore.
It had turned into a story about betrayal, fear, loyalty, and the price of silence.
However, for years, Tiny and Shekinah were inseparable. Best friends, business partners, sisters in everything but blood. From hair salons to red carpets, from late-night Instagram lives to reality TV, their chemistry was undeniable. They laughed together, hustled together, and defended each other through some of the ugliest controversies in Hollywood. But somewhere along the way, that bond cracked, and what slipped through those cracks might have destroyed both of them. Because behind the filtered selfies and "sis love you" captions, there were real wounds. And now, those wounds are wide open for the world to see. According to insiders, Tiny had been keeping tabs on Shekinah for months. The two had fallen out publicly before, but this time felt different. People close to them say Tiny was done playing nice. And Shekinah, well, she'd had enough of being silent. Mutual friends were warned to stay neutral, but everyone could feel the shift. You know how it is. When the energy changes, you don't need anyone to confirm it. Lines were being drawn. And even though neither woman said much in public, everyone in Atlanta's entertainment circles knew something big was coming. Shekinah had been dropping cryptic posts online for weeks, emotional quotes, late-night Instagram lives to reality TV. Her chemistry was undeniable. They laughed together, hustled together, and defended each other through some of the ugliest controversies in Hollywood. But somewhere along the way, that bond cracked. And what slipped through those cracks might have destroyed both of them. Because behind the filtered selfies and "sis love you" captions, there were real wounds. And now, those wounds are wide open for the world to see. According to insiders, Tiny had been keeping tabs on Shekinah for months. The two had fallen out publicly before, but this time felt different. People close to them say Tiny was done playing nice. And Shekinah, well, she'd had enough of being silent. Mutual friends were warned to stay neutral, but everyone could feel the shift. You know how it is. When the energy changes, you don't need anyone to confirm it. Lines were being drawn. And even though neither woman said much in public, everyone in Atlanta's entertainment circles knew something big was coming. Shekinah had been dropping cryptic posts online for weeks, emotional quotes, late-night Instagram lives to reality TV. She didn't name names, but fans didn't need her to. "They used me," she cried in one live stream. "They smiled in my face while talking behind my back." It didn't take long before people started connecting the dots, and the dots led straight to Tiny. Tiny, on the other hand, kept quiet. No direct responses, no clapbacks, no denial. But if you listened closely, you could feel the chill. That silence wasn't neutral. It was pressure. Pressure building towards something neither of them could stop once it started. The breaking point came late one night in Buckhead, at a birthday party that should have been just another flashy Atlanta gathering. According to an alleged witness who spoke to an anonymous entertainment source, Tiny and Shekinah came face to face outside the event. Cameras weren't supposed to be rolling, but you know Atlanta. Someone's always got their phone out. The witness claimed Tiny approached Shekinah first, yelling, "You think I don't know what you said about me?" before things turned physical. The video that later surfaced was shaky, dark, and messy, but voices matched. You could hear the tension, the betrayal, and then chaos. Screams, a struggle, the sound of something crashing, and then silence. The clip ended abruptly, leaving everyone to fill in the blanks. By morning, social media was on fire.
Tiny really put hands on Shekinah, one fan wrote on X. Another posted, they were just on live laughing together. How did it get this bad? Within hours, hashtags were trending. Hashtag pray for Shekinah, hashtag Tiny, what did you do? But no one was ready for the next revelation. As the gossip spread, reports surfaced that Shekinah had been rushed to the hospital. Fans were worried, assuming it was just injuries from the fight, until one leak changed everything. According to medical sources online, doctors discovered Shekinah was 3 months pregnant. The internet froze. The same Shekinah who'd been crying on live about heartbreak and betrayal had been carrying a secret, a child. She hadn't told her fans, she hadn't told her followers, and according to insiders, not even Tiny knew. Suddenly, the story wasn't just about 2 former friends fighting. It was about a pregnant woman being attacked. And in that instant, the internet's tone changed from gossip to outrage. Tiny going to jail for this, one user wrote on X. Another posted, Shekinah defended Tiny for years, and this is how she gets treated? Within hours, blogs were spinning their own versions. Some claimed Tiny had no idea Shekinah was expecting. Others suggested it wasn't even an attack, that Tiny was provoked. But everyone agreed on one thing. Something dark happened that night. Meanwhile, Tiny's camp stayed completely silent. No tweets, no interviews, no press releases. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that makes people wonder what's being hidden. In the world of celebrity gossip, silence is never neutral. It either means strategy or guilt. Fans began piecing the puzzle together. They went back through old posts, old interviews, old lives. They remembered when Shekinah broke down crying after the T.I. and Tiny scandal, saying she was used and discarded. They remembered Tiny pretending Shekinah didn't exist during the reunion special. Everyone thought they had made peace, but it was obvious now. Time didn't seal anything. It only buried resentment deeper. Then came the whispers. Shekinah wasn't just emotionally hurt, she was scared. According to a supposed nurse who spoke anonymously, Shekinah told hospital staff she didn't feel safe. That statement alone turned a messy feud into something far more sinister.
Word began spreading that Shekinah had been working on a tell-all, something explosive. Screenshots leaked, allegedly showing her texting a friend saying, "They can't silence me this time." She was done holding secrets. She was ready to speak out about everything, not just Tiny, but the entire web of drama, rumors, and manipulation that had haunted her career. Fans started wondering, was this fight really just a coincidence? Or was someone trying to shut her up before she could talk? TikTok detectives went into overdrive, analyzing every old clip, every cryptic caption, every post that hinted at betrayal. Some even claimed they'd heard a baby cry in one of Shekinah's old lives. Proof, they said, that she'd been hiding her pregnancy for months. Others didn't buy it. They said the timing was too perfect, that maybe someone planted this entire story to distract from something bigger. But with every new leak, the chaos only grew. Then, on day 2, everything changed again. A blurry photo surfaced online, allegedly of Shekinah in a hospital gown, an oxygen tube in her nose, faint bruises under her eye. Whether it was recent or not didn't matter. The image went viral instantly. People reposted it with captions like, "Pray for her," and "She didn't deserve this." And just like that, Tiny became public enemy number 1. Her comments were flooded with snake emojis and demands for answers. But she didn't respond. Instead, she went live on Instagram, smiling, playing old school R&B, and acting completely unbothered. Fans filled the comments. "Why did you hit Shekinah? Say something. We saw the video." But Tiny said nothing. That silence, it was deafening. And the internet interpreted it as guilt.
The next few days were chaos. TMZ and Hollywood Unlocked ran conflicting stories, one saying Tiny's team was spinning the situation as a verbal misunderstanding, another claiming Shekinah was pressing charges. Nobody knew what to believe anymore. The confusion only made the public hungrier for answers. Atlanta insiders claimed the police were reviewing footage from the Buckhead event. Some blogs swore that an investigation had already begun. Meanwhile, fans were divided. Some saying Tiny would never do this, others convinced she was covering something up. Then, another leak, an audio recording allegedly of Shekinah crying, whispering, "I didn't deserve this, I was just trying to protect her." The clip was short, emotional, and completely unverified, but that didn't matter. It spread across social media like wildfire. And just like that, the narrative was locked. Tiny, the aggressor, Shekinah, the victim. As the story gained traction, more whispers surfaced. Screenshots appeared online claiming Tiny's camp had reached out to Shekinah's friends, offering help or settlement money. One alleged message read, "It wasn't supposed to go that far. We can make it right." Meanwhile, reports out of the hospital hinted that Shekinah's pregnancy was at risk. Doctors were allegedly monitoring her closely, saying the stress and trauma could cause complications. That revelation hit people hard. What had started as gossip now felt tragic. Even celebrities began chiming in. Tamar Braxton tweeted, "Some friendships end because the truth finally came out." Others posted vague messages about protecting women and fake friends. The entertainment world had chosen sides. And through it all, Tiny said nothing, not a word. That silence, it became its own statement. Finally, days later, Tiny broke her silence, not through a press statement, not through her lawyers, but with a simple Instagram post, a black background, and 4 words: "God knows the truth." No caption, no context. That one post set off another storm. Some fans saw it as defiance, proof she wasn't sorry. Others said it was a cry for peace. But insiders whispered that Tiny wasn't worried about the internet. She was worried about what Shekinah might reveal next. Because Shekinah wasn't just a friend. She'd been Tiny's right hand. She'd seen everything. The private messages, the parties, the deals. If she really wanted to expose Tiny, she had all the receipts she needed. And that, some say, is why this situation is so dangerous. Because once you know someone's secrets, you become their biggest threat. A week later, a new rumor surfaced, one that broke everyone's hearts. According to an alleged hospital insider, Shekinah had lost the baby due to complications. That detail, while unconfirmed, sent shockwaves through social media. People weren't just angry anymore, they were furious. The idea that this fight may have cost an unborn child's life turned the internet into a courtroom. Bloggers began posting emotional tributes. Fans flooded Shekinah's old videos with comments of support. And still, Tiny said nothing. Not a word. That silence became its own statement. Then, out of nowhere, Shekinah reappeared online. Her Instagram had been wiped clean. No old posts, no rants, no videos. Just one new post. A white background, 3 words. "I forgive you."
No tags, no explanation, just forgiveness. And maybe that's what's most haunting about all of this. The silence. Tiny's silence, Shekinah's earlier silence. The silence of the people around them who might know more than they're saying. In a world where everything is filmed, recorded, and shared, silence becomes suspicious. It becomes evidence in itself. Fans are still demanding the truth, still waiting for someone, anyone, to go on record and clear the air. But until that happens, the mystery continues to grow. Every day brings new speculation, new leaks, new drama. And as usual, social media is both the courtroom and the jury. So what really happened that night in Buckhead? Was it a moment of rage between 2 hurt friends, or something deeper, something planned? Was the pregnancy a tragic coincidence, or the key to understanding everything? Nobody knows for sure, and maybe we never will. But one thing's certain, in Atlanta, silence means guilt, and right now, both women's silence is deafening. What do you think really happened between Tiny and Shekinah? Was this just a misunderstanding gone too far? Or is there more to the story that we haven't heard yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. If you made it this far, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because in this story, the tea is still brewing and you do not want to miss what happens next.